Oh.
Okay, we're about to go live.
Oh. Hello.
Hello everyone in the ladies lounge. Welcome.
Yeah.
Myself and my beautiful co-creator Viv Adcock have a very special guest with us today, Wendy Mulder.
Hello.
Welcome, Wendy.
Welcome. Thank you. Love to be here.
Well, we actually have two special guests. We have Wendy and Silas. So
I know, Silas, my bestest mate.
Wendy, you go, Viv.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've ever said this to you. I mean, you and I have known each other for a very long time. We've traveled the world together. We've taught classes together. We've hung out. We've changed the world. But you were one of the very first women in my life that ever showed me what it was to be a lady.
Aww.
When I very first met you, there was just this beautiful strength, but softness, you know, this gentleness, but this incredible strength at the same time, and this presence there was no hustling and bustling, there was no jostling, there was just peace. And I've watched you and had the pleasure of enjoying your conscious journey over the last, 15 odd years, more than that now. Seeing you step into this more and more and more, and the magic that you be with bodies, particularly because you had originally in your old life, you had a nursing background, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much. It's so true. Like I just have, the more and more I be with me and with my body and other people's bodies, there's such a beautiful energy. There's such a excitement. There's a mystery. There's magic. The biggest thing for me too, I think, is having gratitude or honoring of myself and my body, that I'm alive, I'm here, I'm on the earth, and receiving all of that is just like, what a gift.
Yes. And do you find that as you've aged, quote unquote, that you have more of an appreciation for your body and what it's capable of being and doing?
Well, it's interesting because I don't have any concept of age. It's like really, really interesting because you know how your body just has no point of view. And it's like the more and more you are in tune with your body and you honor it and you have that vulnerability, it's like age goes out the door. Mind you, when you look in the mirror, it's like, oh no, okay, there's a few more lines coming up here. But actually, age is not, to me, is not a concept that I can even grasp. It's just like, it's like, how much is that something that we've bought into, or we've been told, you know, when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 60, all these different things are going to mean, or something's going to show up. But what if it was just totally the opposite? What if it, as we, you know, each day was a new day, and it was, the past is gone, today's here now. And so there's that mystery and magic of like, oh, okay, so what can we be and do today, buddy? You know, it's like, and yeah.
And thank you, the ageless and the youth thing, because they're energies that I've never kind of managed to put words, not that I want to define those energies, but it is being in your company, in your presence. It's like, it's the same with you, Tiff, as well. You know, there's just this agelessness. It's not relevant. It's not significant. It doesn't bear any weight in our worlds, where we just have a body that we enjoy, we commune with it, we enjoy it, and celebrate it and grateful for it. And that's, for me, the greatest gift of contributing to our bodies, of like gratitude and the communion and because it's our judgments that create our body. It's our judgments that create the aging or the gray hair or whatever it is, you know. So
yeah, absolutely. And how much is that just actually like truly living? You know, because if we say we really, you know, that one of like, you know, today was our last day, or, you know, like where there's no past and there's no future, there's just now. And like what you were just saying, Viv, and when Tiv and I were talking earlier, it's just like that essence of like truly living and having that communion with our body. And it's like, and what else is going to show? What other possibilities are available for us now once we take away that significance, or this means something, or making something real. And now that we get to play with all the molecules of our bodies and see what else is possible.
Yeah. And, Wendy, I know that you have been, a facilitator and practitioner, really in that sense of practicing using the tools and ideas and concepts of access consciousness for a long time, along with myself and Viv. And you're also an access consciousness 3-day body class facilitator. So, we're talking about aging, for example, and if it's us that have the being that has these ideas, these judgments, these points of view that create the aging that happens in our body a lot of the time. And so if we can change some of those things, then we can have something very different. But I really wanted to ask you, because would you have had that same sense of not really having much of a point of view about aging before you came to Access? And, what else has changed for you with, specifically the body tools? So there's tools and there's, like you say, bodywork processes, that we learn. And so what has that opened you up to? I would love to know.
Yeah, well, if I just go back to like when I was nursing, like it was, you would never know this now, but like I had all different ailments going on, stuff with my legs and my tummy and my feet, and I had to wear insteps in my shoes, and I used to get like such back pain, and it was like that. And then what occurred was I just made such a demand in my world. Something's got to change here. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but the actual tools, like what you were saying, with the body processes, all of those gifts from Access Consciousness and all the different tools and the processes and the techniques actually is what it was sort of like you were given this toolkit of these are the things that you can actually apply and choose to make. And it's not saying that's going to heal your body, but it was, to me, it was just like, okay, what is going on while I was nursing? It wasn't working with my body. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, so I've got all these tools here and I'm going to go for it. And then not knowing what it was going to look like. But then later on I turned around and I'm like, oh, I don't have this and this and this and this and this. And I can run on the beach. I don't have irritable bowel anymore. I don't have migraines anymore. And it was the willingness to actually choose to make a change, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this and this means this. Yeah. It was really just, and now it's still this excitement of like, oh, I know I've only just got the tip of an iceberg of what is truly possible. But I did always though have a knowing though. I always remember like when I was going through those years, I remember when people used to talk about menopause, aging. And to me it was like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not, and that was one little tip for me, because it was like, this doesn't make sense. So because I didn't have any energy on it, I didn't have a point of view about it, it never showed up. And I was like, there you go. That was just one little prime example, because it just wasn't in my world.
Yeah. And, I wanted to say, that's another one of, Viv started out this conversation with talking about, the gift that you've been in her world, that you're one of the first people who really showed her what it can be and what it is to be a lady. And one of the things you were just talking about there was knowing, which
Yeah.
is great, because you have always had this sense of the willingness to follow something, like the willingness to follow an energy without having to be able to define it or describe it or necessarily talk about it in a certain type of way. But as a result of you being willing to follow those energies, that you were like, oh, this is fun, or this feels more like me, or this feels like something that my body would enjoy more, then what I want to ask you, what magic and miracles and mysteries has that opened you to in the willingness to follow kind of what your body knows too?
Yeah, like it's just well, how can I? Sometimes it's just not even any words for it,
Yeah.
but it really it's so like the biggest, the funniest thing. A lot of times I just walk around and I'm just going, thank you. I'm just to no one, but to everyone, but to
Wow.
the universe.
Yeah.
And it's just a personal thing, but I'm just so grateful. And it's just that thank you. Like it's because I just know there's so much available to us. There's so much that we can have. There's so much that we can receive. And I've always loved clothes. I've always loved that whole energy about we're gifted with these beautiful faces and this beautiful body. And it's like, why wouldn't you just play with that? Play in the energy of all of that. And to it's so, to me, it's so delightful, it's so precious. And I think that's the biggest thing is is that energy of just thank you. Thank you. We've been gifted to be alive and here on this world, on this planet. And I suppose I'm lucky. I work a lot with grief, death, and dying. So as well, I'm always seeing again and again of how grateful it is that we have the gift of a body and our being, and that we're alive. And so why not just enjoy it, and follow the energy. I love that. Just follow the energy. And you guys do that too. You're so amazing.
Well, I just want to pop in with something too, because it's the space that I find the access body processes and access bars and the access processing. It's the space that creates above and beyond anything, because it's like, well, you've gone from having migraines and irritable bowel and painful feet and painful legs to this incredible sense of ease and peace and space with your body. And when you're facilitating a 3-day class, Wendy, what do you see from when the bodies walk in on the first day to when they walk out on the third day? What do you see? What do you notice?
Well, I think the biggest thing is this, it's like, but I don't even know if it's communion. It's like the happiness of the body being acknowledged. It's like that it's like the bodies are getting a huge big hug of beautiful acknowledgement and nurturing, and the allowance, because judgment starts to move away, and then comes in this energy of it's okay just to be me. And what if it's okay that we start to find that all of a sudden we have this body and being that could be my bestest friend. And that's how I see it. It's my bestest friend. And that's why I walk around saying, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And just the relief that receiving creates. It's like when I'm with my dog, when I'm with my animals, and you see them melt, it's the relief of them being received in a very different way. And I get this, when you're saying this is our bodies. Oh, finally, they're receiving me. They're not just judging me and beating me up and trying to trim and tuck and talk me. they're just for who I am.
Yeah, exactly. And it is. And I think that's the biggest beautiful things, isn't it, too, about with the body process is it's the start of actually being willing to receive.
Yeah.
Willing to receive that we can change energies, we can add things in, we can change energies, with our bodies, also outside of our bodies. And that we're so much bigger than just our body. Like we're so huge. We're so huge. And how much have we bought that, we're just what our size of our body is? And that was another huge one that I really got to receive so much too, is that just, how potent we really are and how aware we are. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
It's
think
so-
the ease and the simplicity too, like
yeah.
I remember when I went to my first Access 3-day body class, and it was so amazing. But at that point, you have a lot of alternative therapies and body stuff in this world that's called body work, right? It's often referred to as body work. And, we refer to the body processes as body processes. But there was somewhere in me that I was like, where's the work? Like, I want to learn a technique. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to control. I want to be able to control what's happening here, or at least understand, all of that stuff where we're learned to figure things out with our minds, have a step-by-step way of doing things, go, well, this is the problem, like, irritable bowel. What steps do I need to take and what do I need to do to heal it? But the Access body processes are not like that. And I was a little bit like, just this? What, I'm just gonna lie here for 3 days on a massage table and have someone, do this. But it's so subtle and so dynamic in terms of the change that, I received, not just in my body, but in my life as a result of being in one of those classes and starting to, like you say, allow myself, allow my body, and allow the wisdom and phenomenons that my body is to have a space, to have a bigger space to be with me in my life,
Yeah, that's it's so true, and it's so beautiful, because I've been around a lot of people lately and they've got all these it's vibrational this, or all these different names for different body work. And it's interesting, and not many people have asked me what body, they know I do body work, and I've let go of it now, because I was just trying to explain it, but then I just was like, oh, it's just so simple, because you just lie down and you're working with the energy, and it's about receiving, and you put your hand on, and then you just ask for that to run, and there's no right or wrong.
Yes.
And
Yes,
no
and
right or wrong.
the things that it opens us up to is like nothing else out there. There's nothing
Absolutely.
else on the planet
Yeah.
that opens you and your body up to what can be opened up with these simple, easy, anyone can do body processes. It's
And the
still
biggest things.
I was just going to say, still, for even the three of us, we're like, we don't know how it works. It's just it's the magic that our bodies already are, and allowing and inviting them to be more of that.
And when you get off the table, I mean, where else do you gift yourself that 3 days? I mean, we're talking about a 3-day body class that, people like Wendy and other body class facilitators around the world facilitate. But where else do you truly gift yourself that space to relax, to be, to receive in a way that you can't get in an hour at the beauticians? You can't just get from an hour at the spa or a massage or a chiropractic appointment. They all help and contribute to the body. But like I was mentioning earlier, it's the space. When there's space, the solidifications melt. When there's tenseness, tightness, and tautness, it locks it in more. And that's, for me, that was the biggest thing, like you, Tiff, that was the biggest thing for me to get my head around. I was a massage therapist, and it's like you do all the time. And if it's not doing, you do harder, you do more pressure. This is the opposite. This is the total opposite. But the change is so far beyond anything I've ever perceived and probably been. Your body is asking for it, but it's like, right, well, where do I find this? So your body found it, Tiff. Your body found it, Wendy, and my clever body found it too.
Yes. And I think that's so true too. Just listening to you talk too, Viv, it's like, and Tiff, it's, I think part of me too, like, because I always used to think of myself as lazy, because, you know, relaxation, I was like, oh, yes. You know, and actually being able to just, you know, just have that ease and lie down and know that, you know, you can receive an opening to so many other possibilities here on Earth and universes. And so I always feel very grateful for that too. Now I don't like, I'm like, oh yeah, well, bring it on. How much more relaxed can we have? Can we be?
Yeah. So where can people find you, Wendy, and what do you have coming up in the near future?
Okay, well, they can find me on accessconsciousness.com, Wendy Mulder, and also on kindnesswithgrief.com and Living with Ease Facebook page. And I've got some body classes coming up. I've got one in Adelaide, early September, and one in Mission Beach, 14th and 16th of October, and maybe one down in Byron Bay soon, where Tiff
definitely
is.
One down here soon. We just don't know exactly when.
Yeah, we're thinking it may be beginning of December, and maybe I'll say maybe we might have one with Viv's location at some stage too.
Which is outer space, if anybody's looking for me.
Outer space, exactly. So good.
No, but I think we'll probably go early December for Byron Bay area too. But I haven't chatted to Steph, but we will, I think. I'm just making it a choice right now.
Nice.
Oh, but I love you guys. It's so much fun. And that's the thing. I think you know, with me traveling around and being around a lot of people, maybe not that are choosing what we're choosing. It's always just, and nothing against them or that or whatever, but it is always just so lovely to be around that energy where people have just, there's the joy, there's the gratitude, there's the choice, and the possibilities.
Yeah. I just on that actually, Wendy, I know we're kind of wrapping up, but you know, for any of you guys listening out there, the more that you choose to be more aware, the more aware you will be, right? And I know that sounds really simple, but you know, we do this thing of we're like, I want to be more aware, I want to, you know, have more whatever, right? But then with that comes more awareness of more things, of more everything. So when you were saying, Wendy, you know, being around people that are not choosing the same things that we're choosing, well, you know, the more you do this work, the more you become more aware of everything. And so, for example, if you've got someone who lives 2 doors down from you that's, for example, dying of brain cancer, which I do, you're going to be aware of that. You know, you're going to be aware of that. But I think the other thing that these tools have given me personally, especially with my body, is first the recognition of how aware my body is and I am. And secondly, the tools to be able to differentiate between me and what I'm choosing to be and all of the energies around me that are not mine. Which I think for me, you know, when I came to Access as well, I had chronic pain in my body pretty much all the time, and I had no idea what it was from. I had nothing to relate it to. And, you know, through going to a lot of these classes and playing with this stuff, I realized, oh, I'm actually being aware of stuff around me, of bodies around me. And just in that, I was able to move beyond being in pain all the time and start to refine my awareness in being able to recognize, oh, okay, this is not me. This is the guy down the street who's dying of brain cancer. Okay, I'm aware of his reality. I'm aware of his body. I'm always going to be, but now I don't have to be it. And now I don't have to feel it. And now I don't have to think that it's actually mine. So just like life-changing stuff, really, you know.
It
So
is.
I have a request. Can we talk about this next week, please, Tiff? Because that is a massive topic.
Yeah, it is. That is huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be rude, but I also have to go. So
yeah, and I have to go too. But I just thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
bodies everywhere. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bye.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.